Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wedgewood. We are glad you are here today, and we're going to start this morning with our announcements. Announcements and upcoming events. Next Sunday, June 27th, Dorothy Smart will be speaking on achieving harmony, mind, body, and spirit. So I know that you will want to be here to hear Dorothy. And then the next Sunday is July the 4th. We will not have a Zoom service on that day, but we invite you to come and enjoy our gardens. There's a picnic table over there if you want a picnic or walk the labyrinth, spend some time just with yourself or bring the kids, or whatever you want to do. We have some beautiful land over there that we hope that you can enjoy on July the 4th. And a look ahead, July the 11th, Vicki Ayers will be speaking, Gospel Style Resistance. Donna Bill on July the 18th, Kindness, but that is subject to change. She's still kind of debating what she wants to talk about. July 25th, The Lessons of the Trees with Liz. So I know you'll want to be here for those services. Social Justice Book Club, we are reading Past. And there is a new link for the book club for June 24th and July the 8th that has been sent out. If you're going to be new to the book club, then you might want to contact Donna or someone else on the book club and get that link from them.
Melba, can that link be put on the Facebook page?
Yes, it will be on the
Facebook page.
Yes.
Okay.
And the Social Justice Committee will meet July 27th. If you're interested in joining that committee, just let us know and we'll send you the link for that meeting. Contact the church if you wish to join the Social Justice Committee or the Children and Youth Committee. The Children and Youth Committee are just kind of meeting randomly right now, but in July we will have a meeting of the Children and Youth Committee. And we have another committee, the Constitution Revision Committee, that is currently meeting and working on our Constitution. It's going very well. It's tedious. There's a lot to do. We're making a lot of changes, but it's going very well. And we'll be getting back to you with that. Our projects for the summer are still ongoing. Our project Outpour, we're working with First Christian Church to provide free showers for the homeless. Please sign up for that. That information for sign up is in the newsletter and it has been on our Facebook page, or you can contact the church. Or you can just actually Google Outpour First Christian Church and you'll find the sign up link on that. Our Twin Assisted Living project is ongoing, and our sandwich program, the next date to provide sandwiches is July the 10th. More information on all of these in the newsletter or contact the church. Food Pantry is going strong, still needs financial donations as well as donations of food. The best time to deliver donations is on Wednesday between 10 and later. You could bring them, somebody will be there all day on Wednesday. Church giving, it's a need, it's a necessity, it's vital if we are going to stay alive and well as a church. We have lots of options for giving. Mailing your offering, we have a new box number. Texting, Venmo, PayPal, and Zelle. So whatever way works best for you, we do appreciate your giving to Wedgewood. We need financial support. Lots of ways to contact us. We're on social media. If you have not checked out our new webpage, please do. Email us. We're here. We want to hear suggestions. We want to hear your ideas. We want to hear anything you have to share with us. We're always open and love to hear from our membership. Are there any other announcements?
I just want to say that if anyone is interested in singing or participating in music in any kind of way, poetry or anything like that, please just, holla.
Okay, yeah, contact Ashanti. If you are interested, if you play an instrument, if you sing, contact Ashanti, and she would love to include you in the music program here. Any other announcements? All right, then we will go to our prelude. All right, we've all had a lot of people in our lives that we've leaned on. People who have been there for us when times were hard and difficult. And today we want to remember those people. This is Father's Day. We think outside of gender lines at Wedgwood. So we want to think about who were those father figures, if you want to call it that, who were those people that we leaned on that helped us to become the people we are today. So that's our focus for today's service. And we are glad you are here. And we hope you'll continue to be here every Sunday morning with us. And now Dorothy and Donna will lead us in our extravagant welcome.
Welcome to a church that works for peace, justice, equality, and the care of our Mother Earth.
An extravagant welcome to you because of your gender identification, sexual orientation, ethnicity, economic situation, physical and mental challenges, doubting or believing, being depressed or full of joy.
We are a community of curious and creative spiritual seekers, striving to learn and embody the way of Jesus and other spiritual leaders.
Like Jesus, we focus on the plundered and the marginalized as we try to address the major issues of our day.
And one of the ways we seek to heal the world and ourselves is through sharing parts of our personal stories. We are all welcome
Here.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
we are all welcome here. When Wedgwood says everyone is welcome, we sincerely mean everyone is welcome at Wedgwood. And each Sunday we have a moment for all ages. So if you have children, you might want to get them around, but this is a moment for all ages, not just for the children. Hi, Gavin.
Hey.
Good morning. Good morning. It's great to see you. Oh, hey. Yeah. It's great to see you both this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Have a plant. I have a lot of plants, and I try to take care of my plants. Do you have any plants at home that you take care of, or you water and make sure that they have sun?
Yeah.
You right?
Tristan wants to show off all his plants.
Oh,
I'm
like,
not
oh,
too
yeah.
good. I'm just
That's a
going to do
beautiful
around
plant.
the living room walk. But we love our plants, don't we? And Daddy takes care of them all.
Well, that's
Okay.
great.
hang
And
up
I
on-
know Gavin has plants too because I've seen pictures of them.
Yeah, we got a lot of plants.
But I got this plant, and when I got it, it had flowers on it. And I can't get it to bloom anymore. And the leaves are healthy, they're green, but I'm just not getting flowers. And so I've moved it in the sun, I've moved it out of the sun. I thought maybe I'm watering it too much, so I let it dry out. Then I thought maybe I'm not watering it enough, so I give it some more water. And yesterday I said, well, I'm going to give it some plant food. Maybe that will help it to develop some more blooms. But I try to take care of this plant. And I know you try to take care of your plants at home too, right?
Yep, we
And
do.
when you see they need water, you get them water. If you think they need a little more sunshine, you might move it into the sun, or you might move it into shade on these very hot, hot summer afternoons we're having. We might have to put it in the shade. So we are kind of like these plants. We have had people in our lives who have taken care of us. When we needed something, they were there. When we needed, I try to encourage this plant. I even talk to this plant. And I try to encourage this plant to bloom and grow and be a beautiful plant. And we've had people in our lives who've done that for us, haven't we? Who are some of the people in your life that have encouraged you through life and helped you to grow and been there when something tough was happening?
Gavin was bringing a plant for us to show you how we take care of the plant. That's why he left. Come
Can
on.
you think of anybody that was there for you? I know my grandmother was always there for me, that I could always talk to, and I just loved going to her house more than anything in the world. I loved to go to Grandma's house, and she had flowers. Maybe that's why I love flowers so much. But she was a person, besides my parents, that I knew I could always count on if I needed something. She was going to be there with that hug for me. How about you? Who has been there for you through your life?
My grandma has been there, as you said, and she showed me about the plants and how to grow the plants. And now I'm showing Gavin about the plants, and she's very helpful and understands the the importance of watering it. And when it looks sad, he goes, "Oh, this one's sad; it needs water." So he helps me out with this one. Well, this is one of the ones.
I like that plant, Gavin.
A nice plant,
I like that plant.
very long.
Who has been there? Did I hear somebody else saying something for you?
Tristan, who's helped you in life? They want to know.
My mom, my dad, and my brother, and my grandma, and
Did you say your dad?
our cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir. Hot sausage, pick it up.
Well, we have all had all kinds of people in our lives to be there for us, to help us.
I have. It took me many years to find my most special help, Melba. I don't know. I'm a Jesus girl, and to me, in the last 5 years, I've been able to see that I am totally helped by the Holy Spirit. And why I love the Holy Spirit is because it encompasses all people, the whole world. So I think in everywhere I go, Melba, everyone's going to be my friend. And if they're my enemy, I'll keep my distance. But other than that, everyone is going to help me, and I'm going to help everybody.
That's how I feel too. I feel that way too, Dorothy.
Feels
That's a
good.
good
Yeah.
attitude.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, today is Father's Day, and we want to say Happy Father's Day to all the dads, but we also want to think about all of the people who have been there for us. Some of us have had great dads that were there for us. Some of us haven't had great dads. Somebody else has filled in that role for us. So we want today to be thankful and grateful and appreciative for all the people who have been there for us, and for you folks who are still growing up, the people who are there for you today and who will be there for you tomorrow. And all the people at Wedgwood are going to be here for you too. So you just remember that. You've got people at Wedgwood Church that are always going to be here for you if you need things. So let's think about that this week and have a great support for the goodness that we have in our lives. Okay?
All right, say thank you.
Thank you very much.
So they can hear you. Say thank you.
Thank you.
And we will move on with our time of meditation, when we want to think about in our meditations the people that we are thankful for who have been there for us. But we want to hear what are your concerns this morning, that what's on your heavy on your heart, what are you celebrating this morning, and share it with us before we have our time of meditation, prayer, contemplation, mindful breathing, or just rest. I'm excited this morning because I'm going to Canada on Wednesday to see my family for the first time since before COVID. And I cannot wait. So I'm celebrating, but I'm also very nervous because there are a lot of little details. I have to get a COVID test, even though I'm vaccinated, and I have to get the test back in 72 hours or they won't let me on the plane. There's all kinds of little things like that that are putting a little stress level on me with the trip. So I just ask you all to lift me up this week, that everything goes smoothly, that I get to the border and I have everything they're asking me for. I don't stand there and say, oh my gosh, that's on my kitchen table. That I have everything, that there's a smooth flight, that there's no lot of trouble on flights these days with people acting out. Just lift me up this week as I travel and that everything goes smoothly. I would really, really appreciate that. And what other concerns or celebrations do you have this morning?
I do. I'm usually pretty private, but dealing with issues on the negative side when they come up. But the last few weeks, I feel like I haven't been enjoying life the way I should. I was just being pulled in too many directions, full-time job, kids, caretaker position, I'm in school, and let alone I own a company now that I haven't even had the chance to take off yet. And I don't know. I just hope I'm making the right decision. It's been approved. My home assures me it's okay. But I'm thinking until August, I'm going to cut my hours of work in half. My kids are off at camp. And I'm going to take a pay cut, I think. And I've got a lot of projects to do right now that won't bring in money per se today. But I'm hoping my projects will sow good seeds. And I follow the ways of the prophet, and I do hope to have good seeds given back to me over my education and my hard work. And I just felt like I need a break before I break. And I hope I make the right decision.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing, Marcy. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm thankful for life itself. I'm just thankful for life itself. I'm glad I'm still here. I lost my baby brother 10 days ago. I'm thankful that I had time with him. I'm thankful for my family. I'm just thankful for being alive and healthy, and everything is all good.
Amen.
Just thankful.
Would like to lift up anybody who suffers from anxiety and just learning how to live every moment in the moment and enjoy life. So anybody who's suffering with that, I hope we can lift them up.
Thank you.
And Donna Carter's here with us today. Thank God, Donna, that you're here. But you are always in our prayers, and especially today with you here. Thank you for joining
Well, you're
us.
mighty nice. Thank you. I got my new ventilator Friday night, and it's taken a lot of getting used to, but it's helping me breathe, so I'm grateful for that.
Good, good.
Any others?
Celebrate that we got to come back to Charlotte, and Chris and I had a great visit with Will and Emily, and I'm so proud of them. And I just celebrate.
I'm so happy. I am so very happy, and I know exactly how you feel because I know that Will is very happy, and I look at my son and he's the happiest he's ever been in his entire life, and it just warms my heart because his dad wasn't a very good dad, and he has found happiness and is being a wonderful dad and has a great little family there, and it just warms your heart when you see your children find happiness.
Yeah.
And grow up to be good, caring people. It really does. It brings tears to your eyes.
Yeah.
So I'm with you on that, Vicki. Any others? Well, at Westwood, we have many, many different beliefs. So we use these few moments for whatever goes with your belief system. Just a time of quiet meditation, a time of prayer, time of contemplation, mindful breathing, or just to have a moment to relax your shoulders and rest for a minute and escape the world. But just let this moment remind you that you are not alone. Amen. Amen. Holidays are always complicated, whether it's Christmas or whether it's Thanksgiving, it's always complicated. But especially the holidays that are named after roles or after people. Because human relationships are messy, including the people who are honored with holidays. For a lot of people, Father's Day brings up feelings of great fathers who were there for them at all the time. But for other people, Father's Day brings up feelings of grief for fathers who were lost, or who couldn't be there, or who chose not to be there. Father's Day might bring up feelings of sorrow or regret for people who wanted to be fathers but weren't able to be, or who haven't been able to be the father they wish they had been. Today might be a day of divided loyalties for people who have called more than one person father or dad in the course of time. On the other hand, Father's Day can be a joyful day and sweet, remembering the lives and the times with dads or granddads or role models who were there for us, for people who have had we've had a positive relationship with, a loving father figure. Today may well include happy phone calls, funny greeting cards, and tacky ties for some people. We recognize and honor today every dad who stood as their child shouted and screamed at them in frustration. Every dad who tried to understand their child's weird clothing choices, their new hairdo, or cringed at that tattoo. Every dad who suddenly realized their child might just be right and they might be wrong and were willing to listen. Every dad who honestly believed they were making the best choices they could. We remember the dads who screwed it all up, got it all wrong, tried again, got it right, and often went from being the dumbest soul alive to the pinnacle of brilliance and then back again. We honor and recognize today all of those who told us what they knew and forgave us when we got it wrong. Those who wanted to teach us but left us too soon, or simply did not know how to teach us at all. Those who walked us to the bathroom in the dark and turned on the light, and those who waited up for us late at night to get home by curfew. those who let us break their binoculars or borrow their shirts. We recognize and honor today all who told us what it meant to be honest, even when it was embarrassing, to tell the truth and always admit our faults, to be human. We recognize too those who could not teach us those things because they did not know those things themselves. We recognize those who hoped and prayed that we would turn out better than they did. Today, we recognize and honor all who have been there or tried to be there, no matter what. Those who have remained calm in a crisis and those who could not remain calm in a crisis but didn't run away. And those who did run away. Maybe they came back again. Maybe they never came back again. But they always wished things could have been different. Rich and poor, tall and short, slender as a pole and as round as a basketball. Those father figures who helped to raise us and those who formed us through their actions or maybe even their lack of actions. Birth fathers, adoptive fathers, stepfathers, foster dads. Fathers who have no children themselves, but who stepped in to help raise the children of a neighbor or a friend. Grandfathers, uncles, older brothers, sisters, aunts. Single moms who've had to learn to go beyond motherhood. Best friends, neighbors, trans dads, queer dads, and gay dads, and female partners willing to take on the role of father's figure. Today, we honor them all. Through love and hatred, joys and tears, mental health issues, perfect health, sickness, aging, wealth, poverty, absence, and presence, we want to remember them. And I'm going to share with you a picture of my mom and dad, if you can see it. I had the blessing of having a wonderful dad, and I was a daddy's girl all my life. My dad was a minister, and I wanted to go with him everywhere he went. Back then, you went to visit shut-ins, and you went to visit people to try to get them to church, and he went to the hospital to visit people. Even if there wasn't anybody from the church there, he would go and just walk through the hospital to wave at people. That was the only place I didn't want to go with him, because then, as a child, you had to sit out in the waiting room. You couldn't go in to visit, and I was always so afraid at the hospital somebody was going to come out there and give me a shot. So I didn't want to go with him to the hospital, but everywhere else I went. And I mentioned in here dads who taught us lessons and taught us to be honest, even when it might be embarrassing. And that brings one story to mind. I guess I was about 5 years old, and I went with my dad to the little neighborhood grocery store that we always went to. And the man that ran the grocery store went to our church, and I saw a pack of balloons on the counter, and I asked if we could buy that pack of balloons, and Daddy said, no, not today. Well, when Daddy wasn't looking, I slipped that little pack of balloons into my pocket, and I walked out the door. And we got to the car, and my daddy saw that little pack of balloons in my pocket. And he told me, and I don't think I was in school, I was 5, maybe 6 at the most, to go back in, hand those balloons to the man that ran the store, tell him I took those balloons and that I was sorry. That was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, and one of the hardest lessons I learned. He didn't go in there with me. He didn't hold my hand. I had to go and own up to what I had done. And that has been a powerful, powerful lesson that has stayed with me all my life. And it was just a little pack of balloons that didn't cost much at all, but I learned that lesson of honesty. So I'm sure that you have some people in your life who have taught you some lessons similar to that. Thomas asked me to share that his grandmother was his role model. He is out of town visiting his daughter in Iowa. And he said, Grandma Vina Richardson, to please mention her today, that he was bullied as a young child in first and second grade. And it was Grandma who encouraged him every single day how to stand up to those bullies and got him through a very difficult time as a child. And he said one of the things he remembers about her is a quote she said, make it do, wear it up, use it up, or do without. And he said that little rhyme has stayed with him. Make it do, wear it out, use it up, or do without. So he wanted to honor Grandma Vina Richardson today. And I want to tell you, dads come in all kinds of dads. This is what Larry got today. When he got up this morning, our cat Chester was sitting outside the bedroom door, and there was a little bag beside the cat. And Larry said, what is this? And he got a shirt that said, best cat dad ever, ask Chester. And he was tickled to death. And our cat is an orange cat, so I was able to get an orange cat. But best cat dad ever, ask Chester. So sometimes we are dads and moms and caregivers to our animals, and I'm telling you, that brought him more joy. I'll tell y'all this brought him more joy than anything anybody can do for him today. He went out to eat last night, but this made him happier. He just busted out laughing. So dads to lots of things. All right, share what you will about whoever have been the role models for you in your life. Anybody, just speak up.
Well, this is Donna. You know I'm going to share something, right?
Yes.
Okay. My dad used to tell dad jokes and dad stories. And he passed on in 2007, but his stories and advice live on. A man went, this is one of his famous stories. A man went over to his neighbor's house and asked to borrow his axe. The neighbor said, sorry, I'm leaving to go out for the day. The man said, what does that have to do with me borrowing your axe? He said, nothing, but I don't loan my axe to anybody, and one excuse is as good as another. So when someone in the family tells what we know is a little lie or an excuse for bad behavior, one of us will always say, one excuse is good as another. And then there were times that were difficult. My dad was a charismatic fundamentalist, which I think is kind of like two opposites, but at any rate, he lived his faith, although sometimes I think his faith was somewhat misguided. And one memory I have, one day John Lennon proclaimed that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus. Well, that set my dad off. Music left my room that March in twists and shouts. John, Paul, George, and Ringo Starr became shattered vinyl half moons of songs in pieces of my father's jagged exorcism. Whenever She Loves Me sings through the radio, I remember Lennon's bold exaggeration and the heartbeat of all my broken records, empty rice paper jackets, and to this day, I wish I could have held his hand. Another father story is about an Oratorian priest who was my spiritual director. His name was Father Hal Widener. He was an Oratorian in Rock Hill, and he passed on a couple of years ago, and I still carry him in my heart. He was someone to lean on for sure, so the song at the beginning was perfect. Years ago, I was having a hard time and thought I was having yet another mental breakdown. His advice was simple: wear a watch. It kept me sane. I loved his sense of humor too. He said his main interests were literature, music, dogs, pigs, and old movies, as long as they have dogs and pigs and no one dies.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Thank you, Donna. And I see
Mhm.
Chris being a dad right now as he's throwing.
He
Add the
likes
bar,
dogs
but-
too.
Being a parent never stops, does it, Chris?
Well, I was going to share that I was really blessed with a great dad and a great grandfather and lots of great uncles. So I had plenty of father figures that were always encouraging and supportive. But I think it's one of the reasons I chose Chris, always encouraging and supportive. And I want to thank Chris for being a father figure for my niece and my nephew with my brother's passing. He's really been there for them. And I have some cousins who are younger than me, and their father left when they were about 13. And you've been a great father figure for them as well. And just as Chris was at the church, so many people that, you know, either had broken relationships because they were gay or lesbian and came out. I think they saw Chris as a father figure.
Yeah.
And or kids who didn't have fathers in their life, and we tried to be there for them. And I won't name names, but there were many, and we enjoyed them all, and would love to hear from some of them today.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm very grateful for my husband.
And I understand why.
I can say,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dorothy.
Oh,
Michelle, go
thank
ahead.
you. Thank you. You struck a chord when you mentioned adopted fathers. It brought back quick memories that I seldom think about, but they're there. I don't know. It took me to be an adult to realize, you know, after my parents, I was a 9-year-old child orphan, officially adopted by the age of 9 by a man of 38 years old. I went to a summer camp. He was a director of all the kids there. He chose me, got to know my dying mother for 2 years, and integrated me into his family where he had a wife and 3 kids. Well, long story short, I lived with his family for about 4 years, and I was seen to be as a problem child, but years later, I just realized trauma had done a work on me. So my adopted father did send me off to a boarding school institutional life. We fell apart, but we reconnected over the years. About 16 years ago and then 12 years ago, I placed 2 daughters for adoption. And I learned a lot. The couple is very kind in my memory. Never am I looked down upon for anything. But ultimately, when it comes to the adoption community that I came from before I came to Charlotte, where thousands of people all over the world would come to where I went to church to learn about adoption. And one thing, thank God for birth fathers. Thank God, because in the true adoption community, the adopted fathers will always honor the birth mothers, will always uplift, will always keep the memories alive. And, you know, then the wife, hopefully she's a good woman, but she goes along too. And thank God for adopted fathers that save children that could end up in systems, that could end up on the streets. And thank God for people of all sorts that take in children, take in the fatherless. Thank you.
I just want to lift up my father who has passed. In fact, he passed 1 year precisely, 1 year past 9/11. And I always said Dad knew when to go out because we will always remember 9/11 of his passing. Also, my grandfather, who was larger than life. He was not only a grandfather, but a father figure to many people in our hometown. Everyone looked up to my grandfather, and so did I. So I was blessed in my life to have both of those people in my life. And I'm totally, totally grateful for that.
and I would like to lift up my father today. He is still with us now, but it was rough growing up with him. He didn't know how to be that sensitive father. But what I did appreciate is that he was always there. And that's what I have to appreciate him for. He dealt with a lot of trauma in his life and sometimes did take it out on me and my brother. But what I appreciated is that he never left us. He never left my mother. We had clothes, we had shoes. He made sure that we had everything that we needed. And still to this day, he's still constantly been there. So along with dealing with his own trauma, I have to lift him up because he could have left. And he could have not chose to be there. So in that way, he stands out and always will.
Thank you for sharing that. And you know, I can tell you, my son said when he was becoming a father, I'm going to be the father my dad wasn't.
Mhm.
And so sometimes those experiences we can learn, and he is being accepted to adopt his son that his wife already had, 5 years old, and then to his new baby. So sometimes we learn in those horrible situations, we don't want to be like that. We are going to be better.
I wanted to show a picture. I always tell everyone I'm 7 foot tall, but I come from a very short family, so I'm going to show a picture of my father.
Oh, thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Actually, he was shorter than my mother.
Oh,
That's too cute.
Chris, were you getting ready to share?
Yeah, one of the great gifts my dad gave me was just an example of a father loving my mother. And both my mother and my father at this point in their life were racing to death. My dad had prostate cancer that had spread throughout his body. He was in a wheelchair. And my mother was in the hospital, and we really didn't think we were going to be able to see her live much longer. And I'll never forget rolling him into her hospital room in a wheelchair, and he got as close to her as he could, took her hand, and I had never heard my father pray before. And he took her hand and just basically begged God to let her live. It was one of the most beautiful prayers I've ever heard, and fortunately she did come through and lived probably about 7 or 8 more months. She lived 2 months after my dad died. They wanted to die together, and they almost did.
A funny story, the last time we took them out to eat, and it was a 30-minute ride. They wanted to go eat fish, and they were always very picky about where they ate fish. And so he would freeze, and so Chris's mom would say, turn the heat up, Emmett's cold. And then Chris's dad would say, turn the heat down, Jane can't breathe. And the whole way back and forth, we just had to, I was like, Chris was driving and I was just playing with the thermometer. And they both were so concerned about the other. It was laughable.
Oh,
Vicki, it sounds like an O. Henry story.
Yeah, it was.
Listen, I appreciate your father. I appreciate your father because I'm very particular where I eat seafood. Period. My mother grew up in Eastern Shore, Maryland, so we know good seafood.
oh,
Well, listen, Melba, can I share just real quick?
absolutely.
All right,
Please.
I'll put on my camera because it's going to be important. I think you see me, but none of y'all are allowed to laugh. All right.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Well, this is a story about my daddy, and it's true. But let me set it up for you just a bit if I can. For some unknown reason, my mother kept every clock in the house on a different time. There was no rhyme, no reason, it just was. And to say that she was a little crazy is mild. But anyway, and this particular morning, my sister, my middle sister, had been staying with mom and dad because she was getting her house treated for termites. So a little exasperated with all the times in the house, she went to daddy and she said, Daddy, how do you know what time is it? What time is it? And daddy said, well, honey, that depends. Do you want to be early? You want to be late? Or do you want to be on time? And Judy said, well, Daddy, I want to be on time. And Daddy said, well, honey, look at your watch. So, which is to say that you were not going to get the right time at Mother's house. And that I think I got a lot of my sense of humor from my daddy. And I still have my daddy, and I am grateful for that today and for that story.
Oh, that is great. I love it.
That's right. And we couldn't help but laugh, Donna Carter.
Well, of course you did. I wanted you to laugh.
Well, I'll be the last one since I'm going to do my thing. I didn't have a dad, but I did have different people in my life and different times in my life that I would say was a father figure. And one that stands out is I have two, but I'll just say one. One that stands out is I was in a theater group when I was about 16, 17, still going through my trauma. And the theater group was like a blessing because it wasn't just a theater group. It was a camaraderie with the other children and the director and the dancers and everyone that was involved in this musical group. We did a theater and musical theater. So that person, Mustafa Madyoun, who had a theater group called Ensemble One, was like my saving grace at that time in my life. As we were learning the play and learning our lines and learning the dance and exercising, we were learning lessons within that camaraderie, you know. So he encouraged me to go on, to be as big as I can be, to continue to sing, to continue to grow and not to be afraid of my talent and just to open up and pretty much fly, you know. So I appreciate him being in my life. And I didn't appreciate him until not that I didn't appreciate him when I was in the group, but as I got older, I appreciated even more for what he gave me and how it still sticks with me. And that was like, oh, over 30 years ago, but the lesson's still there as if it was just, you know, a month ago. So I am thankful for all of the people that have been my stepping stones, I would say, as I grew up in my tumultuous childhood. I also wanted to read this. I found it looking for something, a poem or something to say about fathers, or not just fathers, but caregivers. And then they didn't have, the author is unknown, but the words are beautiful. And I'm saying this to all caregivers for children. The difference you make today might not show up for years, might not make you rich or famous, might not get you glory or cheers, but the difference will live forever, will be passed on into the wild, because the difference you make in the world today will be in the heart of a child. So I thank you all caregivers for making a difference in the children's lives. The song I wanted to sing today, I knew this song. I've sang this song like in my mind when it comes on the radio, something like that, but it didn't move me the way it moves me today. My brother passed about 10 days ago, and I sang the song at his funeral because this is one of his favorite songs. And it moved me because I never really listened to the lyrics, and the lyrics are very beautiful. And I hope that it resonates with what our caretakers here today. And I want to dedicate this to my brother, Michael Christopher Hope. I used to think that I could not go on, and life is nothing but an awful song. But now I know the I can do it if I just believe it. There's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. Yeah. See, I was on the verge of breaking down. Sometimes the silence, it seems so loud. There are miracles in life I must achieve. But first, I know it starts inside of me. Oh, if I could see it, then I can be it. If I just believe it, there's nothing to it. I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day. Spread my wings and fly away. I believe I can soar. See me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. I believe I can fly. 'Cause I believe in me. Yeah, yeah. This is for all the caretakers out there. We thank you, we love you, we appreciate you. Ooh, I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. I think about it every night and day, and fly away. I believe I can soar. I see me running through that open door. I believe I can fly. I can fly. I believe it. Oh, you gave me the strength to believe it. I can fly. You can fly. Just spread your wings and fly. Hey, I can fly. I can fly because of your love, because that you care. I can fly.
Amen. Shanta.
Yeah. Thank you for the caretakers. Thank you for someone that came into my life at the time that I needed them so desperately, you know? It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. We needed that this morning, and that was just beyond beautiful. Just
Yes,
beyond.
thank you. Thank you, thank you. Needed that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want us this morning as we go to remember those who are not with us this morning, who are traveling to see family today. We've got quite a few people not here, so just remember them, that they get safely back to us next Sunday. And now we'll have our closing. Blessed is the person who feeds and warms, washes and comforts the child, and soothes them in illness, for they shall be called caregivers. Blessed is the person who gives shelter and food, clothing, toys, books, and tools. For they shall be called providers. Blessed is the person who opens doors in the child's experience, who explains the puzzling and the wonders and the mysteries. For they shall be called teachers. Blessed is the person who shields a child from that which will wither or warp, who protects the child from abuse and exploitation, who guards against bullying and scorn. For they shall be called defenders. Blessed is the person who takes the time to listen, who is there for a child in the darkness, who is aware of the fears, who speaks the words of encouragement in moments of despair. They shall be called sustainers. Blessed is the person who guides a child in the search for beauty, who encourages them at what is daunting, who steadies them as they explore new experiences, who fires their aspirations and their dreams. For they shall be called inspirers. Blessed are all those persons who help bring an infant along the many paths to maturity, for in them is the future and the well-being of humanity. Go in peace.
Go in peace.